when you look at the table there, where we should be, the first half was the energy was impressive. The way that we pressed the game was very impressive for us going forward, and I think that there'll be teams out there who'll be saying if they get through, we won't want to come against them because the way that. And I think you've got to highlight the 2 substitutions he made as well. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Rashford came on and give us that little bit of zip that we'd lacked in the second half, which was, I think, vitally important for our second half.
And as we saw from that table, if England beat Panama, which you would expect them to, because Panama are pretty weak, aren't they? They're in a great shape to qualify.
They are, and they would have learned today. We're talking about this young squad, as Rio said, players coming on, contributing. Maybe he'll shuffle the pack slightly. We know how exciting Rashford is and what he brings to the team. But yeah, Panama, I fully expect us to win, and then great confidence going into that last game.
I think that's what it was about tonight. I think we just wanted to see these guys get out. They've been sat for 5 or 6 days watching all the teams putting in performances, some good, some bad. I think it was just important that they went out. They got the right result. I think it would have been so difficult for them if they didn't get that 3 points there tonight, because they deserved it. The number of chances that they created, never in danger in that second half, and they'll make huge strides because of that tonight.
And we got a magical moment, didn't we? We were all up and jumping and screaming and shouting. A late winner for England doesn't happen that often. And enjoy Harry the hero.
It shows you how important set pieces are, aren't they? And this is another thing with Gareth. Tunisia changed in the second half to defend in set pieces. They actually went and marked the England players, very different to what they did in the first half, but it still didn't work. And when you've got Stones and when you've got Maguire, who were prepared to stick their head in there and get on the end of it, and if no one's going to pick him up from 3 yards out, that's going to be the outcome.
Clever header,
Thank you very
Great
much.
header, great twist of the head at the last minute. He sells the goalkeeper there, but that area is littered with goals. It always happens on the second ball. The Tunisian players follow the ball, they move forward. Harry Kane, he's smarter than them, he moves into the area.
Look at Gareth Southgate there. What a reaction.
Yeah, it did.
Oh no, this is our reaction. Oh, this will be embarrassing. Oh, sit down, you fool. Let's hear from Harry Kane, the match winner, the hero of England, once again. Very diplomatic from Harry Kane about that. He might have been slightly less so had it remained at 1-1, but we were getting mildly irritated, weren't we?
Yeah, but
he did get a first goal.
Even that in itself, Gary, is a great character, because you can tell he's not been allowed to go anywhere, because he's been held off, but he hasn't been moaning, hasn't let it affect him at all, and he's turned up.
Yeah, we'll come to those possible VAR moments in a second, but here's his first goal, 11 minutes into the opening game of the World Cup. Great start.
Great start. They've obviously looked at the corners and how Tunisia defend them. They've isolated their bigger centre-halves, the headers of the ball there. They've stayed out by the penalty spot, and now they're looking at second balls after that. Again, sharp, brighter than everybody else, and that's exactly what he needed early in this World Cup.
Yeah. We're quick sometimes to complain about our managers, our coaches, when things don't go right. Gareth Southgate deserves credit. He's obviously done a lot of homework, those corners in particular. The system, the high press, everything worked pretty well, apart from perhaps missing too many chances in the first half.
And I think I'd say that was the major negative from this performance, if any. It was just the chances, they weren't clinical enough. And at this top level, against better teams, you'll get punished. As we saw the first half, they scored at the end of the first half. And luckily, we had a good chance at the end, and it was Harry Kane at the end of it to get us the goal.
Even his substitutions, Gary.
Very good.
He wasn't content to sit there. He wanted to do something to try and affect the game. And the two guys that came on, Rashford and Loftus-Cheek, I thought in particular, certainly had a big influence on the game.
They did. They opened things up, didn't they? Let's have a look at the. You like wrestling? You enjoy wrestling? There's a couple of examples. This is the one in the second half. We'll have a look at that first.
This is crazy.
The other one a few times.
And I think you look at it here. You can. The defender's not really bothered or concerned about the ball at all. He's all over the back of Harry, and the one in the first half was even worse. But this is, it's crazy the way the referee VAR doesn't even come into play.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I would love one of the VAR people to come out and try and explain that to us. I mean, because they told us before the World Cup started that they were going to keep an eye on this type of thing from free kicks and from corners. Yet you see two blatant incidents like that, and nothing's happened.
Particularly given the nature of the penalty that England
exactly. But this is one of the major reasons for VAR, I think, because there's so much going on in that box. So we're trying to help the referee. See something that you might have missed, and if he has missed it, have a look, and it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Simple.
I thought Jordan Henderson played well, did you?
Really well, really well.
Let's hear from him.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. Jordan Henderson, here he is with Gabby.
Jordan,
Frank, he was exceptional, really, and he had a lot of good forward passes as well, which is sometimes the critical thing about him.
He carried on his recent form for Liverpool, and I think with Jordan Henderson, I wasn't probably sure what kind of midfield player he was a couple of years ago. A bit of an all-rounder.
Yeah.
And
He's a leader.
He's certainly a leader. He's matured on and off the pitch, and I think he's used a real intelligence to take that role. He's got great drive in him, but the one question you mentioned there is, can he unlock that pass a bit earlier? And we saw that he can tonight.
It was one of the major concerns about England, the lack of kind of people to open things up in midfield as well. So we need that. England need that.
You need the passer and you need the movement between the lines, and we had both, particularly in the first half.
I thought he showed his intent very, very early on in the game, where you showed it at half-time with that ball that came into him first time, just around the corner pass for the forward running onto it. And if a forward knows that a midfielder's going to do that, it makes his job a lot easier to time his runs.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the penalty decision that went against England and for Tunisia. Rio, it was it's a soft one, there's no question about that. It wouldn't normally be given.
It can be debatable, but I think it's the one doubt anyone would have had about Kyle Walker playing centre-half. His body position here, facing your own goal.
Yeah. Where should he be then?
He should be facing the other way. His body should be facing where the ball's coming from, and being able to see the player as well, seeing both.
So open himself up.
Open himself up. Here, he's looking at his goalkeeper. That's criminal. Look, he can't see the player, so he's got no idea where he is. His arms are up, so he doesn't know the actual player. There's going to be contact, so therefore you get punished for that.
Pickford got close to it, didn't he? Just a minute touch.
I think he'd be frustrated. I think that wasn't perfect penalty, and he got a finger on it, but not quite enough.
Well, the interesting thing is that England have, in the previous 10 World Cup matches, had never scored more than one goal, so they needed to. That was important. And Harry Maguire played an interesting role for England today. He started in the back three, but more and more as the game progressed, he eased into the midfield and became a bit of a playmaker. Let's hear from him. A very good and honest assessment of his own performance there. Rio admitted to being a bit nervous, gave it away a couple of times, but he came through it, and he was also pivotal in moving the ball into midfield, which you need to do when you're only up against like one attacker. Yeah,
and I think that shows personality, great character. He understand he's made a few mistakes and got through that. But that's what he's in the team for. That's why Gary Cahill's sitting on the bench and he's not, because Gareth Southgate knew they was going to have more possession, and then it's about players that can have the ability to go into midfield and feel comfortable, and then drag players out towards them, and then play behind them. And in the second half, he done that on numerous occasions, travelled with the ball, and actually felt very comfortable. He released himself to be able to get into attacking areas. You need that.
And he was a threat from set pieces.
Yeah, you need that as a midfield player as well, don't you? Because if a central defender comes out, someone has to approach him, and then you can get more space.
And as you mentioned again, a team that just want to sit there and sit tight, someone has to unlock the door. So he opens the first one, and then you play from there. Yeah.
We talked about Gareth Southgate's substitutions, made a difference. Marcus Rashford looked lively and dangerous.
Yeah, he did. He took the confidence that I'm sure he got from the friendly game straight into it, and he's involved straight away. And when you introduce a player, you're saying to him, go and make an impact. Go and do something different. Try and change the game, because that's why the manager's putting you on. And I thought he gave us a little bit of energy in that second half, a little bit of trickery with quick feet, and I thought he was a good addition to that team in the last 20 minutes.
What he is he's direct. He wants to go and hurt people. Here you see him, he twists this guy all over the place, sends him for left and right. But what he is, he's asking the defenders questions. Do you want to defend? Can you defend against me? And he's got that pace and that confidence to really take it to people, which is needed at this level.
I think we're going to see a lot of him this tournament. You know, the freedom that he's playing with. We haven't seen that week in, week out this year in the Premier League, but he has a real sense of fearlessness. I'm going to pick it up, I'm going to run at people. And when the game did go a bit stale for England, he was the one who came on and changed the pace of it.
Do you think he's perhaps edged ahead of Sterling in the Gareth Southgate's reckoning for the next game?
I think it would have been easier for Gareth to change it if they hadn't won this game. But I think because they've won the game, then it wouldn't surprise me if he stuck with what he started with tonight. But Raheem knows that he's got to perform just once or twice in the second half where he just stopped when he had one-on-one with a defender. I'm saying, go on then, click into gear and
like
go.
You do at Manchester City.
Yeah, just go. Don't bother stopping, because no one will catch him. And I just think, is there a little bit of lacking in confidence with him there?
Yep. Let's hear from Gareth Southgate, the England manager. Did someone once say it was an impossible job? It's easy. When you win.
Let's not get carried away.
No, it's a great night for Gareth, because he would put it under huge pressure as well. and he'll also look at his own performance. Certainly leading up to the tournament, we all said it before the game, it was excellent. He had a settled squad, he'd named it very early, the players knew the system. Now, could they go on and get the right results? So for him tonight also, as well as his team and everyone else, be huge for him.
Yeah, I suppose the one thing he'll be, we've mentioned it already, the one thing he'll be slightly irked about would be the fact that they missed so many chances, particularly in the first half, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, this is a positive and a negative. We're getting in there, which we're all happy about, and we keep talking about these forward runs in the first half. I mean, not many can deal with this when it's coming from all different areas, and it was for England with Dele Alli, with Lingard, with Raheem Sterling, Harry Kane up top. So it's the crucial thing is obviously you're going to have to take these to go really far in this tournament. They can look back.
It's encouraging that they created so many.
Well, this is it, and I think when you win in the end, you can actually put it to bed and go, okay, let's not worry. Now there'll be some issues. Maybe Lingard will be sort of not sleeping so well thinking about it tonight because he's a goal scorer. That happens, but the performance I think overrides that. And maybe you learn from it a little bit. Maybe we'll be a little bit more settled in the next game.
Listen, I'm delighted that we're sitting here looking at these chances, because how many times in the past tournaments we've been sitting here saying that our players are bereft of ideas. Our team looks like they're laboured. They don't look like they've got any idea of how to get towards goal, let alone create a chance. So to see this and to see so many chances coming ahead, I think that's a confidence, and I think that's what Gareth Southgate needs to turn in his debrief after this game. We're getting in, the right things are being done. This now looks to be clinical.
Yeah, 17 shots, 7 on target. I mean, it's a long time. I think I can remember where actually I thought England played a lot of good football, created chances, scored goals, and won a game.
Well, that's what
in a World Cup or a European Championship.
That's what we all wanted. We wanted England to give us a little bit of hope, to give us a performance that had energy, had good passing, had chances created, and certainly in the first half, all of those things happened. Yeah. Plenty positives.
I think at the same time, do not underestimate how important that goal is to win it in terms of pressure. Like he alluded to it there, that's alleviated a lot of pressure coming from the media, fans, etc. about this team.
Yeah. Kyle Walker's playing a slightly different role in this World Cup than we've seen him play, obviously, at club level. Let's see what he thought about it. All sorts of ways of watching the World Cup, and it's just got a little bit more exciting. Harry Kane, 15 goals now in his first 25 matches for England. It's a long time since someone did that. 2 goals, the first time in a World Cup for an England player since, I don't know, 28 years ago.
Who was that?
No idea. They were penalties.
I can't stress enough the importance and the confidence. Not that he needs it anyway, because
every striker needs it, Alan.
He'd have been sat for the last week looking at Ronaldo, looking at Griezmann, looking at Pogba, looking at all these guys scoring goals, and he knows that we're going to be talking about him in tournament football yet, not having a goal. The manager gave him the armband for one reason, because he's the go-to player when someone has to make a difference. Come on, skipper, pull us out the mire, do something special, get us a goal, win us and he's done that tonight. So
it's a great feeling.
That will give him huge confidence, and you know as a centre forward to get off the mark in your first goal. Bring the games on.
You know what, you get in your room, don't you, at night, you lay on your bed like that and you just go. Big smile.
He won't be sleeping tonight, that's for sure.
That's the thing, it's funny, you sleep less, don't you, when it's gone well, because you're so excited.
And he will be bouncing around the camp, you know, it makes you feel bigger and better, and that's exactly what we needed, because some of the chances we missed there were snatched by the other lads. Lingard, they snatched at them. So they need their first moment. He's had his first 2 big moments.
Yeah, he only had 2 chances, really, proper chances in the game.
Yeah, and he's took them, and that's what he's there to do. But, I mean, you roll on forward to the Panama game, and I think this now allows the manager to kind of change it up. They're no great shakes, Panama, we saw that earlier. So that gives them the ability now to actually look at some other players, the guys who came on and made a difference. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Rashford, you've got Vardy in there. These guys, you want them to get going and get some time on the pitch.
Harry Kane will be licking his lips at Panama, won't he? Absolutely. Especially after that, he'll be thinking golden boot already, because that's how strikers think.
There's no doubt about it, that's what he'll be thinking, golden boot. As I said, he looked at other strikers who have scored some goals over the past few days, and he would have been desperate to get off to a goal scoring start. To
do that, though, England need to go a long way in the competition. From what you've seen tonight, a bit more encouraged than perhaps you were prior to the tournament.
I think, you know, we're trying to keep expectations down, but let's be happy. Let's look at, we've got a young team, the way they played there. Once they get through the group, which I believe they will, then they've got every chance.
Yeah, encouraging. belief.
Yeah, exactly.
everything.
This
It's all
will
there.
definitely breed belief, and I think what they'll see is the energy that they had in the first half and the way they pressed the game. That's the way this England team need to play. If they're going to go far, be successful, hurt teams and scare teams, that first 20 minutes in the first half is what they need to look
A
at.
young
Be their
squad
signature.
with an experienced manager. It was vitally important that they got that win tonight, and they kept on going, and they really deserved it because of that first half performance.
Enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
great
Roll on
start.
game
Soren.
two.
More of the same, please. That's it from us. Thank God for Harry, England, and St Gareth. Good night.